What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the fifth and final day of Mystery Week. If you are new, I am running a 5-day Mystery Week on this channel where I've been posting a brand new video every single day from Tuesday to Saturday, all surrounding a different mystery, different case, things like that. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure to check out the previous Mystery Week videos. I'll have the playlist linked in the description box down below. I've had so much fun making these videos, so much fun putting this Mystery Week together, so I hope you've also enjoyed it. I just want to say a big thank you to every single person that has supported me this week by watching these videos, by leaving comments, sharing my posts, everything like that. And thank you so much as well to all the new subscribers that clicked that red subscribe button. Thank you to my returning subscribers and returning viewers. Like I said, it is the last day of Mystery Week and today's video is going to take on a different format than all my previous videos. I'm trying something new, something that I've never done before on this channel, so your feedback would be really appreciated. Let me know if you like this new format, if you like the style. Let me know if you hate the style and you never want me to do it again. Leave all your opinions and thoughts in the comment section down below. Without speaking any longer than necessary, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Today's video is a very famous Russian mystery involving 9 hikers that mysteriously died in the Ural Mountains between the 1st and 2nd of February 1959 in the former Soviet Union. Once again, I do want to put in my usual disclaimer right here that by making these videos, I mean absolutely no disrespect to any of the victims or the families that were affected by this case. This video is purely for educational purposes, to give you guys more information and just to tell you guys the story about this case. This is a Russian mystery. The names are Russian. I don't speak any Russian whatsoever, so I do apologize for my very terrible pronunciation that you'll be hearing throughout this video. If you want to have a go at me, go ahead and do that in the comment section down below. Make fun of me, correct me, whatever you feel like doing. The comment section is yours. This mystery is known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. It's called the Dyatlov Pass incident because it's named after the leader of the excursion, Igor Dyatlov. In this video, I'll be listing 10 strange facts related to the Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, a group of students from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, which is now known as the Ural Federal University, decided to go on an expedition across the northern Urals in Sverdlovsk Oblast to Otorten. The original group was made up of 10 highly experienced hikers. There were 8 males in the group and 2 females. All 10 were experienced grade 2 hikers with ski tour experience, and the purpose of the expedition was so that they could get their grade 3 certification. At the time, the grade 3 certification was the highest certification available in the Soviet Union, and in order to get the certification, candidates had to navigate across 300 kilometers of mountains. The Otorten route was estimated as category 3, which meant that this was the most difficult trail. The group was originally made up of 10 people, but during the early days of the expedition, one of the group members fell ill and he had to turn back. The remaining 9 members were group leader 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, 21-year-old Yuri Doroshenko, 20-year-old Lyudmila Dubenina, 23-year-old Yuri Krivonashenko, 24-year-old Alexander Kolevatov, 22-year-old Zinaida Kolmogorova, 23-year-old Rustem Slobodin, 23-year-old Nikolai Thibault-Brignole, and the oldest member of the group was 38-year-old Semyon Zolotaryov. Dubenina and Kolmogorova were the only females in the group. For the first few days of the trip, everything was going well. The group was documenting everything that was happening on their cameras, in their diaries, and things like that. But when the group hadn't been heard from, after about 2 weeks after their expected date of return, their families got worried. They contacted authorities and they asked for a search party to be sent out to look for the group, to find them and maybe even recover their bodies. When the search party arrived at the campsite, they found a very disturbing and very confusing scene. They discovered that the 9-person tent that the group had erected on the slope of a mountain known as Kholat Syakhl, which loosely translates to Dead Man's Mountain in the local Mansi tribe language. They discovered that the tent had been cut open from the inside, as if someone had been frantically trying to escape. Most of the group's belongings were still inside the tent. Their shoes were in the tent, their clothes. They had knives in the tent as well as axes, which they could have used as either weapons or to cut down trees for firewood and things like that. But all of those things were still in the tent. They discovered 8 or 9 sets of footprints leading from the campsite to the nearby woods. These footprints were strange for 2 reasons. The first reason is that the footprints showed that the people who were walking this path, some of them were barefoot, some of them were only wearing socks, and some of them were only wearing 1 shoe. This excursion took place in February, which is pretty much the dead of winter in the Soviet Union, and temperatures in this area can get as low as minus 16 degrees Celsius at this time of year. The second reason that these footprints were deemed as strange is because, based on the impressions of the footprints, it appeared as if the people were just walking casually towards the woods. It didn't seem as if they were frantic. So generally when someone is running in snow or in mud, when you run, you leave a rather deep footprint, and not only is it deep, but it's also sort of like shift. It's not a complete footprint, it's a more shifted footprint, and these footprints didn't look like that. These footprints looked like they were just casually walking from the campsite to the nearby woods. After the discovery of the tent and the campsite, the local authorities as well as the military got involved in the investigation. A few days after the tent was found, the first 2 bodies were discovered at the edge of the woods. These were the bodies of Krivonoshenko and Doroshenko. Both of these men were barefoot, and both of these men were only in their underwear. The cause of death for them was determined to be hypothermia. Actually, 6 of the hikers died of hypothermia and 3 died of something else, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later in the video. Between the woods and the campsite, the bodies of Dyatlov, Kolmogorova and Slobodan were discovered. Based on the positions that they were found in, so basically based on how the bodies were posed, it was thought that these 3 were attempting to make their way back to the campsite, and they were found at varying distances from the woods to their campsite, but none of these 3 ever made it back to camp. It took over 2 months for the remaining 4 bodies to be found, but 60 years ago to this day, on the 4th of May 1959, the bodies of Dubinina, Kolevatov, Thobo-Brignole and Zolotaryov were found. These 4 bodies were found under 4 meters of snow in a ravine that was about 75 meters into the woods. So from the edge of the woods to these bodies was about 75 meters. Kolevatov was the 6th victim of hypothermia, but the 3 others had very strange causes of death. Thobo-Brignole suffered major skull injury prior to his death, so it's been determined that his skull injury was the cause of his death. Dubinina and Zolotaryov both had major chest fractures that, according to forensic pathologist Dr. Boris Vozrozdeny, I'll just call him Dr. Boris, but yeah, according to pathologist Dr. Boris, they had been caused by a force comparable to a high-speed car crash. Even though most of their bones had been fractured, the pair had no external wounds associated with the pressure required to cause their internal injuries. It was also determined by Dr. Boris that there was no way that any human could cause these injuries because, like I said before, it required the force of a high-speed car crash to cause such injuries. There was also no soft tissue damage to any of the bodies. However, information about the state of their organs has never been released by the Russian government. Zolotaryov actually left the campsite without any clothes or any gear, but strangely enough, what he did take from the campsite was his camera. When his body was discovered, it was found that his eyes were missing. Along with her own eyes, Dubinina was also missing parts of her lips, some facial tissue, a fragment of skull bone, and her tongue. There were no signs of any animals in the area that could have provided a possible explanation for the missing eyes and the missing tongue. The missing facial tissue and the missing parts of her lip could be explained due to decay that had happened, because when she was found she was lying face down in the snow, so because of the moistness, because of the water, it had hastened her decay, and that's what possibly caused for her to be missing parts of her lip and the soft tissue of her face. But the missing eyes and the missing tongue couldn't be explained, and it still can't be explained to this day. Another strange thing is that the group didn't struggle for survival. There wasn't any evidence of fighting that may have occurred. There wasn't any evidence of self-defense around the bodies, nothing like that. It just seemed as if one day they were alive, something weird happened, and then they all died. Obviously, because of the very strange circumstances of their deaths, authorities had to investigate further, and during the course of their investigation they discovered that the area that the group had made camp had very high levels of radiation. Not only that, but even their items of clothing, the group's clothes, had very high levels of radiation. According to an eyewitness, at their funerals, the hiker's skin gave off a very unnatural orange glow, and their hair had even gone grey. These were really young people, really healthy people. They were really experienced hikers, so all of this just makes this case stranger and stranger still. It was later discovered that on the night of the incident, a separate group of hikers that were about 50 kilometers south of Kolatsiakal had reported seeing strange orange lights in the sky to their north. So where the Dyatlov Pass group was, that's where they saw these strange orange lights. It's possible that this picture from Krivonoshenko's camera roll is of these strange lights that the other group of hikers reported seeing. Other unrelated witnesses also claim to have seen these strange lights, but their claims only came years after the Dyatlov Pass incident. Along with all of this, Lev Ivanov, who was in charge of the investigation at Dyatlov Pass, noted in his reports at the time that the tops of the trees around the hikers were charred and burned. In the end, the hikers' deaths were officially attributed to a compelling natural force, and the investigation was halted and the case was closed. The region was also closed to expeditions and hikers for about 3 years following the incident, but it is currently accessible today. In February of this year, so basically the 60th anniversary of this incident, the Russian authorities announced that they would be reopening the investigation. However, they were only considering 3 possible explanations, and that is an avalanche, a snow slab avalanche, or a hurricane. The possibility of a crime has been completely ruled out. With that, it does bring us to the end of this video, but before I say goodbye, I quickly want to mention one other thing that I've been doing this week. So not only have I been posting a new video every day for 5 days, but I've actually been posting a video from a different country, from a different continent every single day. So I have covered 5 countries, 5 continents this week. Our first video on Tuesday was from Africa, South Africa specifically. Our second video, the Max Headroom incident, was from North America, the United States. Our third video was from Japan in Asia. Yesterday's video, the lead mask incident, was from South America, Brazil. And today's video is all the way from Russia in Europe. So I do hope you enjoyed the trip around the world in 5 mysteries. Maybe that's what the name of this mystery week should have been. Around the world in 5 mysteries. I should have thought of that earlier. If you enjoyed Mystery Week, then there's 3 things that you can do right now. The first is to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any new videos. Second, give this video a thumbs up so I know to give you more videos like this so we can have more Mystery Weeks in the future. And the third is follow me on social media. You can keep up to date with what I do outside of YouTube. You can get updates on when the new Mystery Week will be coming out, things like that. The links to my socials are on screen right now, and they'll also be in the description box down below. I'll see you guys very, very soon, sooner than you think actually, for another special video. That's all I'm gonna give you. That's the only clue that you're getting, is that there's another special video coming out in the very near future. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in that video very soon. Bye.